couple weeks ago, I uploaded a video where I transformed myself into a TikTok e-girl. And in that video, when I was looking through photos and doing research on what an e-girl was, I accidentally showed a picture and a screenshot of an article of a girl named Bianca. A lot of people are questioning, and rightfully so, why I didn't address it sooner, why I didn't delete the video sooner. And it's not because I'm just some cold, heartless person who doesn't care about it. It's because I was trying to, find a way to do it quietly and discreetly and respectfully as possible so that it didn't get back to her friends and her family. I was afraid that if I talked about it or addressed it, that it would call more attention to it. And if it called more attention to it, then more people were going to talk about it, and then it would create this media frenzy around this tragedy. I felt like by addressing it that the likelihood of her family and friends seeing it would be much, much higher. I also knew that I couldn't just delete the video without addressing it, and I knew that that would cause more speculation and people would say that I was running from it. And then when I finally did address it, it would seem like I was only addressing it because I was getting backlash about deleting it without addressing it, and at that point it would just seem insincere. So I knew that I couldn't delete it until I addressed it, and I needed to know that I was addressing it the appropriate way, which I didn't know what that was exactly. This is such a sensitive topic that this isn't just some dumb drama shit. Like, this is somebody's life. I wanted to make sure that I was doing right by her family. So I knew that I couldn't make a public statement or public apology about this without speaking to her mother first, because it just felt wrong to me. It felt like making a public statement about Bianca without talking to the people who it would affect the most felt exploitive and insincere. So I spent over a week going to her mom's Facebook obsessively, seeing if she posted anything about it, trying to figure out if she knew about it, if it was on her radar at all. Because if she didn't know about it, I didn't want to cause her stress by bringing the situation to light and like letting her know that like the death of her daughter is being like plastered across the internet like this. I didn't want to put that on her. And even if I did see some type of inkling that she knew about it, I didn't want to, I didn't know if it was appropriate to reach out to her and say, hey, I'm sorry about this, because I don't know like what she's feeling. I don't know if it's going to upset her, and I didn't want this to be about me. I wanted it to make sure she was okay. So I went back and forth a lot in my brain saying, okay, I can't make a public statement without making a private apology, but by making a private apology, am I going to make the matters worse and upset her more and bring up a situation that she either didn't know about or didn't want to talk about? So it was just like this internal battle for over a week. So finally I reached out to her mom and I sent her this message, which she gave me permission to share. First, I'd like to say, I'm so sorry if this message comes unwanted or at a bad time. I've contemplated for a couple weeks whether or not it was appropriate to reach out or if it would upset you, and have been hesitant for that reason. However, I do feel inclined to offer an apology. A couple of weeks ago, I posted a YouTube video where I transformed myself into an e-girl. In the video, I was scrolling through a Vox article entitled E-Girls and E-Boys Explained for context and inspiration photos. I skimmed the article, stopped at a photo of your daughter because she had a shirt on that I own, and completely missed the body of text next to it detailing what had happened. Unfortunately, the photo and article were included in the video in a very regrettable oversight. I hope you don't feel I intentionally disrespected your daughter or your family's situation in any way. If I had seen what the context of the article was, I never would have included the image in my video. I tried to quietly blur and remove the portion of the video as to not call more attention to it, because the last thing I want to do is create a media circus around it in your time of grieving, but enough people have seen it that I was worried that I got it back to you and in turn caused you pain. I was unsure of how to handle this without causing you and your family distress, and I'm very sorry if it has. I'm also sorry for taking a while to reach out. I was hoping it hadn't gotten back to you and didn't want to bring it up in case it hadn't. I can't even begin to imagine what you're going through, and I offer my deepest condolences. Please don't hesitate to reach out with questions or literally anything else I can do to help you in this difficult time. If I've learned one thing these past couple weeks, it's that a lot of people care very deeply for your daughter. She's impacted a lot of people and everyone just wants justice, myself included. Much love, Gabby. She responded, hi, thank you for reaching out. I didn't take as much offense to your video as Bianca's friends did. Oftentimes young kids get offended and make a big deal out of things when it's not necessary. I appreciate your apology and the fact that you reached out to me personally. And then I told her, thank you for understanding. I would never meant any harm. I wish I would have acted sooner. I didn't know how. And then I said I was considering making a public apology, but only once I spoke to her and only if she felt okay with it. I'm perfectly okay leaving it be if you're more comfortable with that. She said it's up to you. Sometimes letting it settle down is better, but if you want to be public about it, you can. I really wasn't offended by the video. And I said I agree with that when it's just drama, but I think people are actually hurt by what this turned into. So this is one topic I'd be comfortable not just letting go. Would you mind if I mentioned I spoke to you, etc., etc.? She said, absolutely. Like I said, it didn't offend me. You can tell people I said that. I thanked her for being kind, and we just talked a little bit. So now that I've spoken to her mother directly, I feel comfortable speaking publicly about it. Explained what and how all of it happened, what my thought process was, and what I wish I would have done differently. A lot of people have speculated that I knew about the article and I chose to ignore it, or I intentionally used it without caring about the content, and I assure you that was absolutely not the case. I want to show you this article so that you might better understand how I could miss it, because based on the one screenshot, it looks like, how could you miss it? So, sorry, I need to start a screen recording. When you're on Google, I believe we searched what is an e-girl. We clicked the Urban Dictionary definition, and then the first article is e-girl definition, what is an e-girl vox? So we click this article, we talk about these photos up here, I read a little bit of this, I read this subtitle, e-boys are the new teen heartthrobs and they're poised to make serious money. Seemingly lighthearted definition of an e-girl, e-boy article. You scroll and you see, like, here's pictures here, talking about Urban Outfitters, what does an e-girl look like, just showing, you know, videos and pictures of e-boys and e-girls. So at this point, I'm literally just scrolling through, looking at pictures, and then I stop at this picture. And I'm not reading the article because all it looks like to me is like, the E stands for electronic, talking about TikTok. Like, it's such a lighthearted article, and then this much of a paragraph inside. Obviously, I'm not blaming the article. I'm just hoping that you guys can understand that I would have never imagined in a million years as I'm reading this article that there would be this type of sensitive content in it, so I wasn't paying attention to it at all. I just looked at the photo. I mentioned that I have her shirt and that I dressed like her my entire life. And I'm not making fun of them because I get it and I want it. I want to be it. I'm too old. If I was this age, this would be me.
100%.
For sure. This outfit right here is straight up what I wore from 7th grade to college.
And now.
And now. I do have that shirt. I missed it. My best friend who was sitting right next to me missed it. My boyfriend who was right behind us missed it. My editor missed it. And what I can tell, a lot of viewers missed it at first, and it's just a very unfortunate oversight. I never clicked an article that was specifically about Bianca or the situation. I would never click on an article like that for inspiration. So I posted the video, and a couple days later I got a text from my baby sister and said, one of the e-girls you looked at in your video was, I'm not gonna read what happened. And she said the photos were posted online. I said, what? Holy shit, that's terrible. You didn't see them, did you? Referring to the pictures. I wanted to know if she had seen the pictures. She sent me a screenshot. She said, look at the article. I said, oh my God, I was just looking at pictures. She said, how'd you miss the whole article about what had happened? And I said, I was only scrolling through looking at photo inspo. She said, yeah, I was watching as I was getting ready too, and I saw that and did a double take. She met some guy online, and I don't need to. I know you guys may find it hard to believe that it took that long to hit my radar, but I do not read my comments after the first 20 minutes or so after posting. I do not read my mentions on Twitter. I only look at my timeline. I have all drama channels muted and hidden so that I don't get served their content. I rarely even check my own emails anymore. So when my sister texted me, I went into the YouTube editor inside of the website's app so that I could temporarily blur it until I could get the video swapped. I did mean to blur the entire frame with the article and everything, and that's what I did in the app. I don't know if any of you guys have ever used YouTube inside editing. It fucking sucks, and it must have thought that I was trying to blur just her. It must have had some type of facial recognition. I don't know why it happened, but regardless, that was only ever supposed to be a temporary measure. Again, this was me trying to find a way to handle this quietly and respectfully, trying to not draw this type of attention to the story and then have her friends and family deal with it, which obviously did not work. Now, what I wish I would have done, and if I had a redo, I mean, obviously I wouldn't have used the picture in the first place, but if I could somehow handle the situation again, I would delete the video immediately. I would reach out to her mother immediately. I would address it immediately, publicly. But all of that is in hindsight. I was trying to not make an impulsive decision based on emotions. I was trying very hard to avoid it becoming something that was going to have her face and her name plastered across YouTube. I know a lot of people feel I exploited her or mocked her or made fun of her death or made light of her death. I've been told that I was using her for views and money. And again, I assure you, none of that is true. A lot of people were upset that I showed her but didn't say her name. But the reason that I didn't say her name was because I wasn't paying attention to the article, so I didn't know who she was. I didn't know what happened to her. I didn't use her name in my title. I didn't put her face in my thumbnail. I didn't talk about the story in the video. So I'm not 100% sure where the exploitation feelings came from. I definitely didn't mock her or make fun of her. This is the section. And I'm not making fun of them because I get it and I want it. I want to be it. I'm too old. If I was this age, this would be me.
100%.
For sure. This outfit right here is straight up what I wore from 7th grade to college.
And now.
And now. I do have that shirt. So as far as exploiting her, mocking her, making fun of her, making light of her oh God, it's like hard to say, making light of her death. It's hard for me to see where that part came from, and I just hope that now in this moment that you can understand that I wouldn't do that, and that's not what I would ever try to do to anybody for any reason. It was just one photo in many that I referenced in an article, and it wasn't supposed to like pick her out or make fun of her in any way. But if it comes off that way, in a way that I'm not understanding, I'm just trying to like understand and learn. Even if I can't understand where that came from, obviously people feel that way, and if so many people feel that way, then I am very genuinely sorry for making people feel like I was mocking her or making fun of her, because I wasn't at all. I was admiring her style, and I was doing that believing that she was okay. I was never like trying to use her for money, because straight up, I mean, I can show you this. Before I even uploaded that video, it showed that that video was claimed by Soulja Boy because I sang Kiss Me Through the Phone for too long at the beginning. I'm very sorry to everybody who was hurt by this. I'm sorry to her friends and her family for having to relive this. I never meant for any of this to happen. I never expected it to blow up to that point. And I promise you, I wasn't ignoring it. I was just trying my best behind the scenes to figure out what the right thing to do is. And sometimes I just don't know what that is. And a lot of times it feels like when I try to do the right thing, I end up fucking up more. So I was just trying to like take my time and figure it out and like ask people's advice and figure out the most respectful way to handle it. And then I just froze because I didn't know what to do to hurt the least amount of people possible. And then as it just kept getting bigger, it got more confusing on what to do. I promise you, I really do try to do my best and try to do the right thing. I just don't know always what that is. And in a situation like this, I don't have an example to look to or somebody to ask, how should I do it? What's the right way to do this? Because it's not something that happens all the time. It's just like, I just didn't know what to do, and I didn't want to make it worse. And in trying not to make it worse, I waited too long, and I think I made it worse. I just knew everybody's waiting for me to fuck up, and I just wanted to not fuck up. So I wish I would have done it sooner, and just, I don't know, I just feel like when I'm impulsive and I act on emotion and try to fix things right away, it makes things worse a lot of the time. So I wasn't trying to pretend it didn't happen or ignore it. I was just really trying not to make it worse for the people who knew her, and I feel like I did that anyway. But one thing that I took from this, and it's what I said to her mom in her message, is it's just, as much as it wasn't fun being on this side of it at all, it's inspiring to see how many people were so quick to jump to this girl's defense who never even met her, to hold me accountable for something and to try to push me in the direction of correcting it. And I truly do know that everybody who was tweeting at me or commenting things about it weren't doing it out of hate towards me. They were doing it out of love and defense for her, and just trying to make sure that her life was honored. So thank you guys for being those people, for being compassionate towards her, and for fighting for what was right. The fact that strangers, like, she's a stranger to a lot of you, and she has an army. It's pretty fucking beautiful. So in obsessively stalking Bianca's mom for over a week, I saw her post about a gala in Bianca's honor. I'm going to link it below, but basically they're hoping to raise money for the Bianca Michelle Devins Memorial Scholarship Fund. Bianca struggled with mental health issues, and her mother recognized the lack of good mental health care across the country. So the money is to help students pursue a field in psychology. So I am leaving ads on this video so that it can be donated to the scholarship fund. Otherwise, it's just wasted money that could be put to good use. If you could donate or attend, I know her mother would greatly appreciate it. And also on April 6th, her family is encouraging people to wear winged eyeliner in honor of Bianca. And it's also the day of the sentencing and the trial, so April 6th. Now that I have publicly addressed this, the original video is gone. I'm sorry for crying through this. It's just like, it's hard to talk about because I'm talking about a teen who was taken. It's just a lot. So I'm sorry for this. I know that people don't like it when you cry in these types of videos. This is just who I am. Thank you guys for listening. I'm sorry it took so long. I'm trying to be better all the time, and I'm sorry that I suck sometimes, and hopefully I won't suck as much soon. Rest in peace to Bianca, and sending all the love and prayers and positive energy towards the sentencing on April 6th to make sure that that man never fucking sees the light of day again. Okay, that's enough. Goodbye, guys.